Welcome to Legion Builds, where I show you how to build some of your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. This video and all my content is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. Become a supporter today for just $1 and vote on next week's video release, with more benefits coming soon, including a Discord and character sheets. This is also dedicated to every one of my subscribers on this channel. I wouldn't do any of this without you guys. Today we're bringing in an unstoppable being risen from hell itself, Spawn. Born Al Simmons, he was the perfect soldier, before being betrayed and sent to hell. Now a hell Spawn has numerous abilities. These include the ability to control hellfire, a living suit of armor, magical chains, teleportation, weapon creation, and at one point he became a celestial entity and went into battle against the warring brothers, God and Satan. Yes, God and Satan are brothers in the comics. At the end of this build, this is who you will be. For today's build, we'll be using the Player's Handbook and Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. We're using standard point array and we are multi-classing, but thankfully it's no more than 2 stat minimum, so this will be easy for you should you decide to roll for stats. We'll start things off with Charisma at 15. You're a pretty intense dude and your abilities are an extension of your personality. Dex will follow at 14. Before dying, you are an expert marksman and you are a sneaky bastard. Con will be 13. Spawn is dead and has died multiple times. People just like you so much they keep bringing you back, though it's probably because you're really good at killing and someone needs to be gone. Strength will be next at 12. Low for you, we'll fix that later. Wisdom will be 10, which may be high for you. You have a slight impulse control problem and you're not really good at insight checks. Or maybe you just don't really care to even try. All this means we have to dump intelligence. You're a great tactician, but it's not important for this build, so it has to be out. In case you skipped to this point, Spawn has died. A lot. But as I said, people will not leave you in peace. Reborn from Van Richten's Guide works great. Place +2 into Dex and +1 into Charisma. Ancestral Legacy grants you 2 skills from your previous life. Grab Stealth and Perception. Deathless Nature makes you harder to kill. You have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned. You have resistance to poison damage. You have advantage on death saving throws. You do not require food, drink, or air to live. And finally, you only need 4 hours for a long rest, and you can't be put to sleep magically. While you take a long rest, you just sit there or stand motionless, aware of your surroundings and brooding. Knowledge of a past life lets you think like your old self. You know, the murderous killer that was human, not the murderous killer that's a demon. When you make a skill check, you can add a d6 to the d20, even after you see the d20 results. You can do this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. For background, grab Survival and Intimidation. Since you started off life as a soldier, that's where we're going to start, with Fighter. For skills, take Athletics and Acrobatics. Level 1 fighters start things off with a fighting style. Unarmed fighting makes your unarmed strikes deal a d6 when holding something in your hands or a d8 when not holding anything at all. You can also deal 1d4 bludgeoning damage automatically at the start of your turn if you are grappling a creature. If you don't like this, because you're going to be using weapons, go ahead and either take dueling, great weapon fighting, or even archery, depending on how you want to wield weapons. Second Wind lets you heal yourself with a bonus action by 1d10 plus your fighter level. Okay, time to sell your soul to see Wanda again. Only to find out she is now married to your best friend. Level 1 Warlocks start off with an otherworldly patron. It was Malbolgia who gave you your powers, so we're going with a Fiend patron. Dark One's Blessing allows you to give yourself temporary HP when you bring a creature to 0 hit points, equal to your Charisma modifier plus Warlock level. Pack Magic makes you a poor spellcaster. You have limited spell slots, but will eventually have all your slots maxed out, and you can get them all back on a short or long rest. You start off with 2 cantrips and 2 spells. Eldritch Blast unleashes the Chains of Hell, striking targets out to 120 feet and dealing 1d10 force damage on a hit. Till Touch sends out a burst of necrotic energy, targeting a creature out to 120 feet and dealing 1d8 necrotic damage on a hit. The creature you hit with this cannot regain hit points until the start of your next turn. Burning Hands unleashes Hellfire from your hands in a 15 15-foot cone. Every creature within the cone must make a dex save or take 3d6 fire damage. When you hit Warlock level 9, this Hellfire will deal 7d6 damage. Arms of Hadar unleashes even more chains, lashing out at every creature within 10 feet of you, forcing a strength save, and dealing 2d6 necrotic damage on a failure. By Warlock level 9, this will deal 6d6 necrotic damage. That's the cool thing about Warlocks, you get to automatically amp up damage and more. Level 2 Warlocks gain Eldritch Invocations. These are enhancements gifted from your patron. You get 2 invocations at this level. For your invocations, Armor of Shadows gives you your Necroplasm armor. You can cast Mage Armor without a spell slot, basically turning it into a cantrip. This gives you an AC of 13 plus Dex when you're not wearing armor. Agonizing Blast adds your Charisma modifier to the damage of your Eldritch Blasts. For your new spell, Cause Fear targets one creature within 60 feet and forces a Wisdom save. Should they fail, they become frightened of you for 1 minute while you maintain the spell. Level 3 Warlocks receive a Pact Boon. Pact of the Blade allows you to create a melee weapon with an action. You are always proficient with the weapon, it is magical and will vanish if it is more than 5 feet from you. You have literally summoned just about every weapon imaginable, so go nuts with this. You also have your spell slots upgraded to level 2. For your new spell, Scorching Ray fires 3 blasts of Hellfire out to 120 feet. Each blast can target a different target or the same target, dealing 2d6 fire damage on a hit. Level 2 fighters now have Action Surge. You can now give yourself a free action once per short or long rest. You're now character level 5. Chill Touch does 2d8 necrotic damage, and Eldritch Blast now fires 2 Hell Chains with a single action. Level 3 fighters receive their subclass. It's time to use your tactical prowess. Battle Master gives you combat superiority. This grants you 4 superiority dice that are d8s that you can use to perform special maneuvers. You learn 3 maneuvers at this level. For your maneuvers, Ambush lets you add your superiority dice to a stealth check or initiative roll. Menacing Attack lets you attempt to frighten a creature that you hit with a weapon attack. Burning 1 superiority dice when you hit a creature, you add the superiority dice to the damage and force a Wisdom save. Should they fail, they are now frightened of you until the end of your next turn. Repose allows you to attack a creature that has missed you with a melee attack. With a reaction, you can now burn a superiority dice and attack the creature. Should you hit, you add the superiority dice to the damage. Level 4 fighters earn our first ability score improvement, so let's start with bumping up strength. Level 5 fighters now have extra attack. You can now attack twice with a single attack action. Level 6 fighters earn another ability score improvement. Let's bump up Charisma for better spell attack and DC. Level 4 Warlocks earn another ability score improvement. Cap off your Charisma. For your new spells, Hold Person targets a humanoid with your chains, forcing a Wisdom save on a creature within 60 feet of you. Should they fail, they are now trapped in your chains and paralyzed for 1 minute while you maintain the spell. At the end of each of their turns, they may attempt to break free by retaking the Wisdom save. Green Flame Blade ignites your melee weapons and deals an extra 2d8 fire damage to a creature you hit. And then the flame bursts out, hitting a second creature within 5 feet of the original target, dealing 2d8 plus your Charisma in fire damage. Heads up, this spell is an action, so it can't benefit from extra attack. Level 5 Warlocks receive another invocation. For this one, let's grab Improve Pack Weapon. This lets you add +1 to your pack weapon's attack and damage, turns your pack weapon into a spellcasting focus, and finally allows you to transform your packed weapon into a ranged weapon, such as a bow or crossbow. You will still need ammo for said weapon, and your chains will be better regardless. But you do like shooting people, so you also receive 3rd level spells. For your new spell, Fireball unleashes a destructive blast of hellfire out to 150 feet. The blast erupts into a 20-foot radius sphere and forces a dex save on everyone within the sphere. Should they fail, they take 8d6 fire damage, and this will become 10d6 fire damage when you hit level 9. Let's also trade a spell. Swap Cause Fear for Fear. This spell unleashes a 30-foot cone from you and forces a wisdom save on everyone within the cone. Should they fail, they are now frightened of you, drop everything they are holding, and can only use their actions to dash away from you. They can only retake the save when they break line of sight from you, and you can maintain this spell for 1 minute. Now, I would really suggest this trade, though it's up to you. By level 9, Cause Fear will be able to target 5 creatures, and will have a much wider area. But Fear has some really great bonuses to it. Once more, it's up to you. You're now character level 11. Chill Touch does 3d6 necrotic damage, and now you can fire 3 chains with Eldritch Blast with a single action. Level 6 Fiend Warlocks gain Dark One's Own Luck. Now, when you make a skill check or a saving throw, you can add a d10 to the roll before or after you roll the d20. You can do this once per short or long rest. For your new spell, Misty Step is a 30-foot teleportation that you can take as a bonus action. Level 7 Warlocks gain another invocation. For this one, Grasp of Hadar allows you to pull a creature towards you by 10 feet when you hit them with your Eldritch Blast. This is for each individual blast that hits, meaning you can pull them up to 30 feet. You also receive 4th level spells. For your new spell, Fire Shield covers you in flames for up to 10 minutes. When you cast this spell, you choose a form, either Warm Shield or Cold Shield. Warm Shield grants you cold resistance and deals 2d8 fire damage when a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee weapon. Cold Shield grants you fire resistance and deals 2d8 cold damage when a creature within 5 feet of you hits you with a melee weapon. It's kind of an odd spell, but pretty good. Level 8 Warlocks earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Strength. For your new spell, Dimension Door is a 500-foot teleportation to a location you can see, describe, or visualize. If you teleport into something, like a person or wall, you take 4d6 force damage and the spell fails. Level 9 Warlocks gain another invocation. For this one, Eldritch Smite allows you to burn a spell slot when you hit a creature with your packed weapon, to add force damage to the attack and knock them prone if they are a size huge or smaller. How much damage, you ask? Well, that's based on your spell slot level, which is now level 5. So, your Smite is dealing 5d8 force damage on a hit. That's right, you gain 5th level spell slots now, which shouldn't be a surprise because I've been telling you guys this would happen at level 9. For your new spell, Spirit Shroud creates an animated cape that shrouds you in death. For 1 minute while you maintain this spell, all your attacks deal extra 2d8 damage when you hit a creature within 10 feet of you. This damage can be radiant, necrotic, or cold. You choose when you cast the spell. Any creature that takes damage can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. Additionally, when a creature within 10 feet of you starts its turn, when you can see it, has their speed reduced by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. Let's also think about trading up a few more spells. Trade out Misty Step for Far Step. Far Step is a 60-foot teleportation that you can make with a bonus action, but you can maintain this spell for 1 minute, and each turn while you maintain it you can teleport with another bonus action. Now, the only reason not to take this is it's a concentration spell, so think it over. It's much greater distance, but it limits you in what other spells you can be casting. If you don't like it, trade it out later and go back to Misty Step. Level 10 Fiend Warlocks now have Fiendish Resilience. Now when you finish a short or long rest, you can choose one damage type. Until you use this feature again, you have resistance to that damage type. But magical weapons or silver weapons ignore this resistance. You don't gain a new spell at this level, but let's go for another trade. Drop Hold Person and replace it with Hold Monster. This spell works just like Hold Person, but now you can target any creature, not just humanoids. Now at this level, Hold Monster can only target one creature, while Hold Person can target 4 humanoids, and these humanoids only have to be within 30 feet of each other. Hold Person has a greater number, but can't help against a creature that's not a humanoid type, like demons, dragons, or beasts. Personally, I'd take Hold Monster. Oh yeah, I did lie a little, you did gain a new cantrip at this level. Take what you feel, Booming Blade would be good for your melee weapons, but you have some others. Level 11 Warlocks receive their first Mystic Arcanum. These are free spells higher than 5th level that you can cast without a spell slot once per long rest. For your 6th level Arcanum, it's time to unleash your celestial form, or maybe a more powerful demonic form. Tasha's otherworldly guise transforms you into what you could have always become. When you cast this spell, you choose a form, lower planes or upper planes. You are now immune to certain damage types, fire and poison for lower, radiant and necrotic for upper. You're immune to certain conditions, poison for lower, charm for upper. You gain a flying speed of 40 feet. You have +2 to your AC. All your attacks can now use your charisma modifier instead of strength or dex. And finally, if you attack with anything that is not magical, it's magical. You know, like your fists. You must maintain this spell for 1 minute. For your new spell, Banishment sends the servants of hell back to where they belong, or trap someone annoying in a pocket dimension. Targeting up to 2 creatures within 60 feet of you, you force a charisma save. Should they fail, they are now shunted into a small pocket dimension for 1 minute while you maintain this spell. If they are not from the plane you currently occupy, like a demon from the abyss, after the minute is up, they are forced to return back to their home plane. If they are from the plane you're on, then they return after 1 minute to where you banished them from. You're now character level 17. Chill Touch now does 2d6 necrotic damage. Green Flame Blade does 3d8 fire damage to the first target and 3d8 plus your charisma modifier to the second target. And finally, you can now fire 4 Hell Chains with Eldritch Blast using a single action. Level 12 Warlocks earn our final ability score improvement, Let's Grab a Feat. Tough gives you HP equal to twice your current level, which adds 38 right now, and will add +2 to each level after this, which will be only 2 more levels. You also earn another invocation. Life Drinker adds necrotic damage to your packed weapon, equal to your charisma modifier. Level 13 Warlocks gain another Arcanum, now at 7th level. Plane Shift allows you and up to 8 willing creatures to travel to another plane of existence, or maybe they're unwilling creatures. Targeting a creature with a melee spell attack, if you hit, they must now make a charisma save or be permanently banished to a plane of your choice. Well, not actually permanently, they can return, but yeah, they have to figure out their own way back. For your new spell, Fly grants you a flying speed of 60 feet for up to 10 minutes while you maintain this spell. You can also place this spell on up to 3 creatures total, so you and 2 of your teammates now can fly if you care to. At the end of Mortal Kombat 11, you team up with Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but they annoy you, so maybe just only if you're feeling generous. Our final level is level 14 Warlocks, and Fiendlocks gain one of my favorite features, Hurl Through Hell. Now when you hit a creature with an attack, you can launch them through a portal to a hellish dimension. They will banish until the end of your next turn, where they will return but will take 10d10 psychic damage. I love this one. You can only use this once per long rest. Now that we've hit level 20, let's recap. Your stats are Strength 16, Dex 16, Con 12, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 10, Charisma 20. Your total levels are Warlock 14, Fighter 6. Let's dive in. Okay, let's just list off why this build is awesome. All damage but your unarmed strikes are magical unless you cast a certain spell. You can create any weapon you want, can transform into a divine being giving you multiple abilities, can fly, teleport, unleash hellfire, attack multiple targets, have amazing range, scare the crud out of someone, paralyze people, can gain resistances to damage, can add dice to skill checks and saving throws. You have advantage on death death saves can grab people and can banish them to hell. While your strength is not maxed out, you're adding +5 necrotic damage to your weapon attacks. Downside. Okay, so like all warlocks, you have incredibly limited supplies, like 3 spell slots. On top of that, you only have 4 superiority dice and a few features that are only once per long rest. You also have a ton of concentration spells, which is every spellcaster. Finally, your stats are not really where they should be. As I've already mentioned, your strength is not at the level of the comic books, but at least you can add damage to your attacks. You also have bad wisdom and intelligence saving throws, which most spells target those stats. Spellcasters are going to love you. Thankfully, they will also hate you, as you have spells that, frankly, they don't want to deal with. This is a menacing character. You can get in close to your enemies, scare them, or stay back and unleash the fury of hell. Thank you for joining me today. I release new builds every week on YouTube and Spotify, so don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss a single new character. Check out my Patreon to vote and help decide on next week's video. Who will it be? Will it be Goku from Dragon Ball Z, Anton from No Country for Old Men, Frank Drebin from the Files of Police Squad, or Melina from Mortal Kombat?